All right, I'm recording right
Alright,
now. So, who's judging again?
it doesn't matter to me.
All right, let's just run it. We're doing. What topic are we doing again?
You said you want to do gun control, right?
All right. Which side are you advocating for?
Saying that gun control shouldn't be higher or shouldn't be raised. There's no reason. There's no good There's no really good reason to raise it.
My stance will be then there should be like strict ass gun control laws. That'll be like my premise. Yeah.
Okay, why shouldn't there be strict gun control laws?
Say that again.
I said why should there be strict gun control laws?
I mean, the fewer guns that like goes around, what just happened to him?
I don't know. Somebody negged me, but hurt me. Sorry, what were you saying?
Bro, who's a perm abusing this nigga? Alright, my bad. As I was trying to say, the less guns that's like going around between like the hands of people, like the less like gun violence there will be. It'll like significantly decrease.
Yeah, gun control is like with legal guns, right?
With what?
Legal guns. Like you have certain requisites that you have to have before you can legally obtain a gun.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's fine, but
Like
how does that stop illegal gun
I'm
selling?
talking about
Like niggas on Snapchat who sell guns and shit. How's that gonna stop that?
discontinuing like selling guns publicly and also like manufacturing it and getting in and out of the
Well,
U.S. itself.
wouldn't that violate the U.S. amendment?
I mean, are we confining it to the U.S. or?
I mean, we're both in the U.S. There's no point in making it a general thing.
I mean, we can kind of confine it. But I was using that thing of like the U.S. as an example, unless you want to go by like the actual laws by it, which
Well,
like
each place has different laws, and each place governs things differently. So there's no point in trying to apply this to the whole world.
I'm talking about
And if we're both in the
generally.
U.S., it
I'm
makes
not.
more sense
I'm
to
saying
debate
like
gun control in the essence of the U.S.
I'm not trying to apply the laws of the U.S. to this debate though. That's what I'm saying.
What laws would we apply? Random arbitrary laws?
Generally, I'm talking about generally.
Okay, the thing is we can't go generally because all places house different rules and different laws. That's the problem. So we'd have to abide by one.
That's what I said, bro. No, that's not what I said. Actually, my bad. What I'm trying to imply here is okay, I'm talking about like the actual like laws by the U.S. Like I didn't like memorize like what like the not the Constitution, but like the general policies of like gun control or whatever. I'm just going by
Yeah, which so you're talking about the ones that branch from the U.S. So we would still be abiding by U.S. rules.
say that again. You're mumbling.
I said so we were abiding. You're talking about the U.S. The way their gun control policies work and how they govern their guns.
Okay, we're obviously going by like our own like laws. We have two opposing sides, right? We're not like
What's our own laws? The only laws I'm aware about is the laws of the U.S.
yeah, what I'm trying to say here is like we both have two opposing like strict gun control laws. We're not only going by the US, we're like modifying it to our own argument so that we can either
But okay, the thing is, we're making arguments and stuff. We're making arguments for why it should either stay the same, or why it should be higher, or why it should be lower. But the thing is, we still have to base it upon the current gun control laws that are within the U.S. because it wouldn't make sense for us to talk generally if all places house different rules. I'm not saying that it's only limited to this thing. I know our arguments are going to be different, right?
yeah.
But all I'm saying is how is raising gun control going to stop illegal gun selling, right? If gun control pertains to legal gun obtaining.
As I said, like it's going to be limited on the amount of guns that are going to be like circulating in the US. If we regulate how much like guns go like in the US and out of the US, right? It's going to be like significant, it's going to be like much lower for obviously gang cartels to get their hands on it. As you know, in the US, private like gun deals is like as young as 14 years old. Like you're able to get a gun at like a pistol, I think. I'm not sure which one specifically, at the age of like 14 privately. That's how all these like Snapchat gun dealings work.
Okay, yeah, but like one, the problem with this is I can just like I can go from another, I can get like a gun from a different continent without like the U.S. knowing. So that's
Okay,
already a problem. They can just ship in guns to me, and I can continue to sell them.
but
So that's
that
already a problem.
but you're
Secondly, I
that
think that guns are very important, and that if we have to raise gun control, that progresses to more illegal activity happening.
I mean
Because
that
if we cannot legally obtain a gun to like legally defend ourselves, like in instances where we're getting robbed or somebody's like doing a home invasion, I think uh, that would just lead to more problems and unnecessary things um in the future.
I'm gonna like first go through your first argument and then your second one. The first one being how like you could go to another country and obtain it. I would just say like that directly goes against your earlier argument of just saying it confines to the U.S. I mean
Hold up, that's straw man. Hold up. I said that I can attain it from a different continent, right? Like it can ship to me
yeah, but
from a different continent.
shipped.
That's what I said. Yes.
Well, as I said earlier, if we regulate what guns or like material that come in and out of the U.S., that wouldn't really be a problem. And I don't,
You
can you
said
even
what?
ship a gun? Like I don't know, without like a license. Anyway, that's a different topic. But your second thing being about like the home invasion thing. Um, I would say like there are other means to defend yourself besides just guns. I mean, obviously that like someone might come in with a gun, but that's like what's you can like call 911 obviously. And second,
Yeah.
like you
Hold
have
on,
you
bro.
have
I got. Let me contend that because
hold on,
I
let
don't
me
think that
continue
like
before like like let me like add on to that. But we obviously have like camera systems. You could like defend yourself with like mace or like a knife, or like you could even get like karate classes. Like there are many ways sorry, there are many ways you can defend yourself besides just guns, but you can continue.
okay. One that takes my argument and like and misinterprets it. I'm saying that basically, all right, in essence of a home invasion, right? If somebody like invades your house and they have a gun, and what the fuck are you gonna do if you call 911? What the fuck are they gonna do? Because
What
if
do you
they
mean
have
what
a
the
gun
fuck
to
are
your
they
head,
gonna do?
they can just fucking shoot your shit. They can shoot your shit before you even call 911. That was like retarded.
I mean
Right?
you
I think
have to
in
be
that
sorry.
situation, you would need a gun or something of that sort that can like actually like save your life. These are like life and death situations, right? So it makes the most sense that even with like the amendments from the U.S., which is that every like American citizen should be able to like house a gun, right? And the fact that people get put in these life and death situations, it makes the most sense to have a gun. Having a knife in a situation of a home invasion won't do much, especially if the person's bigger than you, right? They can just overpower you, take the knife from you, and use it against you. You're just gonna be able to use the weaponry against you, basically, right? And then actually, no, that would be it. Because I don't want to make multiple claims.
All right. I'm gonna say this. You have to be like one incompetent person to just stand there doing a home invasion. But obviously, like guns, guns aren't the only way to protect yourself. There are other means besides even a knife. As I said, mace that'll help you. If you have a ring light, like those little rings that come in like in the front of your door. If you have actual security, you will be alerted if someone's like trying to break into your home. And second off, if you do call 911, they actually come pretty fast unless you're like in a urban area, or if you're like it depends on your like where you live basically. But if we're talking about just like a normal neighborhood that has like some type of basic security and like some type of basic like community with like an actual police. Like I've had that situation before where someone was actually trying to break into my house, but I'm not trying to do an anecdotal. But what I am trying to tell you is generally they should come in within 2 to 3 minutes. And if you do have some type of protection inside of your house, you should be able to hide somewhere. It is your house after all.
Okay, so
Wait, hold on. Did I press the record button? Yeah, I did. I did. Hey yo, whoever boosted, that's a
all right, I'm
W.
back. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, yeah. So, firstly, yes, I know there's multiple like other ways to defend yourself. I'm just saying, a gun is the most efficient way to protect yourself, especially in life and death situations where there's other like external possibilities, like somebody be able to overpower you and things like that. Just wouldn't happen. And the thing is with mace, I'm pretty sure your eyes have to be like seeable. I can just wear like glasses or some shit, and the mace won't really affect me as well. And then even then, I can still attack you before you use the mace. So I think that having a ranged weapon like a gun and be able to utilize it in situations of life or death, it's more efficient than what any other like self defense weapon would be. Then on top of that, with the 911 thing, 911 usually takes more than 2 minutes to actually get to your house or to like actually like after response to like come to the emergency, right? And then within those 2 minutes, you've been in a life or death situation. You don't have time like that to waste whatsoever. You have to act quick and you have to act fast, right? Because as you know, your fucking life can end in like 30 seconds. You would like agree with that, right?
I mean, what did you say? You said your life can end in like 30 seconds.
Yes, in a life or death situation, your life can end in less than 30 seconds.
I mean, your life can end at any time. So, I mean, it
That's not
depends on the
okay. Yeah, that
situation.
doesn't that's like not like actually like addressing what I'm saying. Do you like agree that in a
Okay,
life or death situation, right? You can die in 30 seconds or less depending on what the other person's actions are.
as I said, it depends on the situation. You can die in the first 5 seconds, or you
It's a
can die in
life
like the
or
next
death
5 minutes.
situation. That's the situation applied. A life or death
Which
situation where
situation, though? As I
however you
said,
act
it's
or however the other
situational.
person acts, it can lead to either you living or lead to you dying.
Say that again.
I said the situation is life or death. So what I'm saying is, however you act or however the other person acts, right, it will determine whether you live still or whether you can die, right? And I'm saying that you don't have time, like 2 minutes, to actually wait in a life or death situation because you can die before 2 minutes. And as we know, people don't want to fucking die in a life or death situation.
As
They
I
would rather
said,
live.
you're you're not just like if someone's robbing your house, are you just gonna be standing in the living room calling 911? Like I feel like you're misunderstanding me with
You're
that.
gonna go try to
Second off,
hide and go call
um, I
911,
wanted
but
to
even
ask you
then,
a
there's still
question.
enough time. That's still not enough time. Well, I'd rather take a self defense action to where I can get them fucking out my house or kill them in like 20 seconds and I can still live because they're violated one, they're violating my human rights. Two, they're violating like uh legal like standards, and three, they're like violating my amendments and stuff as well.
I wanted to ask you
So I'd
earlier.
rather just get them out the way so I can continue with my life rather than to have to experience this near death experience and be traumatized and so on and so on.
I wanted to ask you earlier. You were talking about how a gun would be most effective against another person also carrying a gun, right? Would you agree to that, or like am I incorrect?
Sure, yeah, that would be the most effective in the situation.
Like, yeah, why would that be the most effective in this case?
Yeah. So if somebody breaks into your house and they don't know you have a gun and they're just pointing a gun at you and like they're threatening you, in the minute so you no, in the second that you pull it out, you can shoot them, and then like one they can be dead, two they would hit the ground, or three, they wouldn't be able to shoot their gun. You can so like shoot at the gun and like malfunction it.
I
So I
that
think
would
that
be
at
like
equal
very.
standards,
Sorry,
at equal
continue.
standards, it would be the best, especially because of how versatile a gun is. Something like a knife is not really like good to combat against a gun. Something like a machete wouldn't be either. Something like mace wouldn't be either because the minute the dude gets maced, he can just fucking shoot the gun. So as versatile as a gun is, the best way to combat against it would be another gun.
All right. I'm gonna say like your example was very situational. As you said, oh, like you can pull out a gun before them, or they can pull out a gun before you, whatever the case may be. Would you agree that if like a home invasion, like a robber, were to break into your house, like they would have like some more skillful training than like the average person that got a license and went to the shooting range a few times?
Yeah,
Life and
no, not at all.
why?
All right, yeah. Some people can just have the malicious intent and have also gotten the gun out of like illegal manner without actually having proper training with the gun, right? And then they could just break into the house, have a gun, but not know how to like actually like cock and shoot it either. So it's really within the range of possibilities. I think that someone with legal training and who's went like to the gun ranges, etc., would have more experience with a gun. So it would be more proficient when they use the gun rather than the person that's breaking in the house, and they have a higher chance of surviving.
I mean, in this case, it really just depends on whether or not both, like the person that's in the house and the person that is breaking into your house is has any like training with a gun at all. And as I was trying to say, like we're talking about your average person here, like your average human being, right?
I'm saying that it's just more probable that a person who's went through legal training, went to gun ranges, legally obtained a gun, and has been shown to have competence with using a gun, right, would be more skillful, or it's more probable that they'll be more skillful and more proficient with the gun than someone who just randomly break
As
into the house.
as you
Because that's why I
said,
said it lies under a vast range of possibilities.
as you said, in a
So
life
now we
and
would
death
go off of the
situation,
more probable situation.
as you said, in a life and death situation, a person who has only shot in a gun range, I don't think would have like any way to actually literally defend themselves against a person who like if you're in a home invasion, you're obviously gonna like have some prep time. Like you're not just gonna come break in. Like maybe you're gonna scout the
I
house
mean,
if you're
yeah,
competent.
that
Hold
would
on,
also fall under a vast range of possibilities again.
but we're talking about
Because I
in a
could just
general
have malicious
sense,
intent, and I could just have like a mental disorder, etc., and it just makes me want to go break
bro.
into somebody's house and rob them. So you
What
can't really
are
make
you
that
adding
claim
right
because there
now?
wouldn't be any substance to it.
Listen, we could just avoid all of this, right? If, as I said before, if you have a ring light or like a ring, like some type of actual security in your house, and you got alerted when someone breaks into your house, instead of just sleeping in and like you hid under your bed or something and called 911 and you just let them rob your house, you'll be fine. You have
That's
insurance.
not, yeah, but there's a huge problem with that
What would
because
that
even
be?
within the time it takes for them to respond, and the time it takes for them to actually send out the police, and the time for them to do all this other stuff, so that they can have like the necessary precautions to actually take down the person that's like invading the home.
You don't have to
Within
take them
all
down
those, you
though.
can be dead. And I think that calling 911 is a necessity, but I think that having a like something of a high self defense that's very versatile is also a
Yes,
necessity as well
the
because
best
it makes the
offense
most
is
sense.
defense. You know that, right?
The
Have
best
you ever heard of
offense is
that?
defense.
In this case, instead of actually trying to like, put your life in danger at risk, if you just took precautions like I said before, you have security, right? You have 911 on speed dial, you have somewhere safe to hide, and if you have insurance, like how it is illegal to not have insurance, like you need to have some type of insurance in your house. I don't know if that's cars or if that's applicable to homes as well, but yeah, you could like literally like just avoid the entire situation altogether
We're
without
gonna go
having
ad
to engage
nauseum
in
in a
violence
second.
at all.
We're gonna go circular ad nauseum in a second. So I'm just gonna like
You want to like
I'm
hone in
gonna
on the
tell you
point?
this one more time. If you don't actually defeat it, we can go to conclusions, or like we can just move on.
No,
All
I
right.
think my point still stands at this case. As I said, like you haven't defeated the
You're saying
security
that you
point at
have these
all.
other precautions, but also these precautions don't. All right, these precautions do help, but they take more time than it would take for a gun to like actually kill someone or like harm somebody to the point where they can't actually harm you anymore.
Like
That's the only
no,
problem with
like
this situation, right?
if you're in your
Because there's all these prerequisites for like for like the security, right? You have the ring light, you have that one on speed dial. Then you have to go run and hide. Then you have to go do this other stuff. And then within all that time, you already know how the police justice system works. And you call the 911 operator. The 911 operator, basically let the local police get ready.
Yo,
Within
you got
all of
like
that,
you're
it
cutting
takes a
off. Can you
certain
repeat
amount of
that?
time for them to actually reach the house, and also depends on the location of the house as well, right? So with that also being into play, it does make more sense that you would have a versatile self-defense weapon like a gun, so that you can at least fend yourself if the killer, or not the killer, but if the person that's is like invading your home is trying to get at you and trying to rob your house.
Listen,
If you have
I
probable
don't think
cause as
you've I
well,
don't think
you
you've
should
really
be able to
defeated
do
my
whatever you
security
want to
purpose
do
or my
against the
prerequisite stance at
against the
all.
person. You said what?
I said I don't think you've like. Hold on, give me a second. Just give me 1 second. I don't think you've defeated my prerequisite stance at all in this case.
Oh my god, man.
I'm back. After this, like we
What?
can go to conclusions. But as I've said, I don't think you've defeated my like security stance at all, or my stance of like someone calling 911. If you have a ring light, right, you will see when they are entering. Therefore, you will actually get a few more seconds to react than a person who is actually invading your
Oh my
home.
god.
In this case,
Yeah,
like
that
as you
doesn't.
said, hold on, let me
That
finish.
still.
Let me finish.
Alright, yeah, that still has like the presuppositions of like the time and
Presuppositions.
stuff that I already like elaborated on.
No, because you're in the mindset that if someone is trained with a gun, that they will have they will have the proper instincts and reaction time to actually defeat this home invader, right? As I said, if someone's going offense on offense, right? There isn't there isn't a certainty that you will actually defeat this home invader. But in
Yeah,
this
it's
case,
life or death, right? It
if you
was never
have
a
prerequisites,
certainty.
if you actually are a smart and competent person, you have security, you have a competent hiding place, you call 911 and just tell them your address and say you have a home invader,
Uh,
wait it out in a
but
safe
yet
place, the
again,
cops come and take care of your problem.
yeah, well,
You
but
still
yet
haven't
again,
defeated my stance, and I think we
with
should go to
all of this,
conclusions on this.
there's still that amount of time it takes for the police to actually get there, and then
Then
within that
hide.
time frame that the police can get there, the assailant could have killed you, robbed your house, and left. We've seen this numerous times in the real world where a home invasion leads to death, and that person can never get caught. And even if he does get caught, he still got away at the scene. So, in that instance, having a gun would be more probable to let you live. And I can just like send you some clips, or I can like send you like some cases to where like people like have had a home invasion, and then they don't make it out alive because they don't have like self defense weapons like a gun, and then the assailant just like runs out the house and runs away from the scene.
I think you're going off on a different point of saying like they run away and go off on the scene. That's not really what our topic is
That's
on
not
about.
okay. That's not me going off on
And
another point. That's
second, I
just
think
me
we should really
saying
go
that
to
like,
conclusions. I'm not trying to go circular and be here all day. So
all right, sure, we could have.
I think
All
that's
right,
cool.
my
Is
daughter
that
can
cool
just
with you?
judge it. That's fine.
I mean, I think we've said enough to the like. We can even like just have.
Mother, have you been listening the whole time?
Bro, was he even listening?
I don't even know.
No, not really, but I could go over the recording and give a judgment if that's fine with both of you.
Oh, my shit is lagging.
Did you hear me?
Who's been listening?
I don't think
Whoever's
he's listening,
competent
bro.
in the Zaref, it's
Which
gun
Zareth is
control.
that?
That's the what?
Hold on. Is that
Nigga,
Zeffy
loser,
from
how am I
Grace?
retarded? Like you talking about me being retarded and you just misspelled retarded.
Yo.
You were listening?
Yo, is that Zeff from Grace? Zeffy,
Yeah,
like
it
that
is.
one? Yo, what's poppin'?
Bro, my shit is glitching, bro. If we don't got a judge, then we can just like end the recording and we can send it to somebody. We can resume later when like somebody can judge
I
it.
mean,
Yeah, well, like, we can just say our conclusions right now, and then I can just like end the recording.
Alright, yeah, alright. I'll say mine first. Okay, yeah, my conclusion would be that I won.
wait. Are y'all concluding on the whole debate?
Or it can be, but I think that if this point goes through, then my initial argument with like people, like if it takes more legal matter to get a gun, then it leads to more like troubling outcome.
So I'd say just first agree upon if y'all are gonna conclude the debate or just this specific point.
You gotta conclude the point because I think that I should still give you like a chance to give more arguments, and I should still give some more of my arguments.
Yeah, we can like conclude on this point and send the recording to someone and then
All right,
continue
yeah,
on
that's
it
fine.
later based
Okay,
off of
I'll
that.
give mine first.
All right, that's cool.
Basically, my conclusion would just be that I think that I've won this point. I've given like examples to where a gun which should be more would be more helpful in the situation than just having like security. Having these necessary precautions like a ring light and like having 911 on speed dial etc is pretty good, right? But the only problem with that is that how much time it takes for the police to actually reach the house or reach the emergency area. And within those minutes, and if you're in a life or death situation, you can die, right? And then I also told my opponent basically that there's real world examples to where people have home invasions, they get killed even with calling 911, and then the assailant like leaves and never gets caught, or they get caught later on, but after fleeing. But in that life or death situation, if they had a gun or some type of like some better type of like what's it called, self defense weapon, they would have saved themselves, and Salem would have got killed. So I think that if we're going under those like assumptions and possibilities, that a gun would be the most tactical to use in that situation. That's my conclusion.
All right. I'll combat that conclusion, but basically, my point was that in this case, defense is the best offense. Wait, where'd he go? I don't think I need him in VC, right? To have my conclusion.
No,
Alright, that's cool.
just
That's cool.
he said he's lagging, so just state your conclusion.
Alright. So in this case, defense is the best offense, right? In his case, with someone like having a gun, and that would be the best like tactical way to defeat someone. That's not the case. Every single person with gun training or like that has been to a gun range will not be competent. Like it would be more situational, which I'm trying to like further get away from that, because if you had like prerequisite, if you had precautions, if you had like drills in your own home instead of going to a gun range, then obviously your chances of being safe in a hiding place where obviously the home invader cannot kill you since it is your own house, you would be able to call 911 specifically. They would get there in time. Obviously, like the home invaders, like they'll get whatever you want. You have insurance. Just stay calm and just chill out, and like obviously it'll be a higher chance of actually surviving instead of going into an offense with a weapon. And that's all my conclusion. Hold on, let me stop recording.
Okay.